Hello friends, Nayaswami Hriman here. You ever hear people talk about you need a personal savior? For most of my life, that term, used by Christians of course, was always a bit of a non-starter for me. It just seemed too personal. In fact, most of my life I've railed against the tendency to be too personal. I've tended to orient myself towards the abstract or the impersonal, searching for truth that is universal rather than, personal. Recently at our Sunday service, the title of the reading was, Is the Law, it's not a question, is the law perfected by love? That's not a question, it's a statement. And I think about a lifetime of spiritual practices, a lifetime of faith, a lifetime of good works, all the things that constitute spirituality in whatever form, East and West, and throughout the centuries it has taken. Now, Jesus battled, as you know, the law-abiding Pharisees who are too fixed on the law. He brought the teaching of love. And yet his own work, later called Christianity, as it evolved and merged with the Roman Empire, whose genius, in quotes, was that of the law, became the law and then ruled by the law. When I think of the history of the Christian church and its evolution and all of its conflicts, even down to this day, you can't go to heaven by works, but by faith alone. They just argue about everything. I mean, they all argue about everything, not just Christians, don't get me wrong. But the fact is you have to work at things in order to succeed. And it's the success in achieving that is the equivalent of the love, meaning the union. You work hard at a career, you work hard at getting healthy or recovering, you work hard at having healthy relationship, and the love represents the synthesis, the union, the communion, the prize, the brass ring, if you will. And so many people think that this idea of the law versus the love is at opposites. And so it is that people who go more by devotion look down their nose at people who use techniques or abide by the rules of their chosen spirituality. Those with their chosen spirituality and who abide by the rules or practice yoga, they look down their nose at the sentimental, sometimes fanatical bhaktis or devotional people. Both sides look down at the people who only just work in karma yoga. But it's really all of the above. It's my proverbial, for those of you who know me, know that it's the proverbial both and. But at this point in my life, I will add my testimony to the abstract precepts down through the ages that the law is perfected in love, meaning the whole purpose of the self-effort is to draw the grace that unites us with the Spirit, unites us to God. But there's another point I want to make, and I'm not going to dwell on it, which is if, like me perhaps, you're driven to find universality towards truth, and that will naturally tend to take the form of abstractions to some degree, and the intellect to some degree. It's always personal. Just as the law is perfected in love, in a way the personal is perfected in the impersonal, and so you see they balance. And so until you take your striving in whatever arena of human activity you are engaged, until you make it personal, until you make personal effort, you cannot achieve union, success, and so forth. But as it relates to spirituality, and this is the point I want to make and to end with, until you really do have a personal Savior who can personally guide you, protect you, discipline you, help you, inspire you. You cannot achieve transcendence of the personal ego. It's really that simple. But for many people, I think because of how religion has been practiced, that concept of a guru, a personal savior, is a bit off-putting. And I've been challenged with that off and on. I mean, not greatly, but because in my life, my guru, Paramhansa Yogananda, hasn't been in the body, so it hasn't really been an issue. But to bring the guru personally into your life, into every moment, through the daily practice of mindfulness and inner dialogue, and to really see the guru, whether in a body or without a body, as a living presence in your life, as being personal. I don't think you can really get very far on the spiritual path. If you only went by precepts, concepts, and practices, I think you can get quite a distance, but you're going to rub up against the final frontier, which is ego. The negative pole of the sixth chakra is right here before the higher chakras of ascension. So one way or the other, you're going to have to come to grips with that demon and with that angel that is just behind the demon. And so I would encourage people not to wait too long, to at least be willing and open to make your religion personal, to make your spiritual path personal. Now, for those for whom that does take a human form, a spiritual teacher and so forth, then you're going to have to be careful. Generally, we are in no position to judge the spiritual stature of another person. So in that case, I haven't had that experience, and I don't have that particular inclination as other people do. Sometimes they make mistakes. But so I don't have a lot of advice, except that whatever inspiration and counsel you might receive, make sure it's your own and take responsibility for it. So if that person in that body disappoints or even abuses you at some point, it's yours, okay? But anyway, so the spiritual path is personal because it's all about you at this stage of unfoldment. So there's no getting around that. Using the rosary beads or going to Mass or doing Kriya Yoga, all of those things can only take you so far. Make sense? All right. Joy.